Hey everybody, Playtendoguy here, and yet another year has passed us by, and again it only feels like yesterday when we were in the beginning of 2019. But now we've already come to the end of the year and the end of the decade, as 2019's been a bit of a strange year for gaming. There has been plenty of brilliant releases this year, but there hasn't been many big announcements for the PS4 and Xbox One, as we verge on the next generation of consoles for the next year. But back to 2019, and today we'll be talking about the best of the best of 2019, with my top 10 games of the year. Actually, making this list I thought it was going to be really easy, as I thought there wasn't many great titles, but actually getting all the titles out and putting them in order, it was actually quite hard, as there was a lot of quality titles. There weren't many big, huge titles, but there was plenty of quality titles. But before I start, I'll state that this is my list and my list alone, so if your favourite game didn't make it, it's probably due to me not playing it. But without further ado, let's begin. Before the list officially starts, here's a list of honourable mentions that just missed out. Kicking off the list at number 10, we have Days Gone. After a rather lengthy development, Days Gone finally released in 2019 to a rather mixed critical reception. But I gave the game a chance, and honestly I really enjoyed my time with it. The story of biker Deacon St. John and his quest to find answers about his wife whilst also trying to survive in the wake of a zombie outbreak is thrilling and incredibly interesting. The game's many characters are well written and likeable, and the many subplots do keep the game's 60 plus hour story going on nicely. The gameplay is your typical open world 101, featuring a huge open area full of things to do and collectibles to nab, and for some this would put you off the game, but Days Gone open world feels like it was made with love. With its beautiful dystopian version of Oregon, it has many picturesque moments, and while some open world activities are a bit repetitive, the gameplay is incredibly fun with great shooting and survival mechanics that all gel well. Also, exploring the big open world by motorbike is a nutter joy. Driving around at a rather fast speed makes traversal enjoyable, and the game's iconic hordes are a true technical achievement by fitting so many zombies on the screen at once. Defeating one of these hordes is easily one of the most tense and exhilarating experiences I've had this year, and thankfully most of the technical issues I had with the game at launch are pretty much all fixed now, so here's hoping we get a sequel for the PlayStation 5 then. Number 9. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. After completing the brilliant Dark Souls trilogy, many wondered what developers from Software would do next. The simple answer is to deliver yet another hard as nails but incredibly rewarding experience, and that game is Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Gone is the dark fantasy world of the Souls games, and what we have here is an adventure set in feudal Japan. You play as the one-armed wolf as he tries to protect the divine heir. Journeying through the land, you come across many hard enemies, and like the Souls games, Sekiro does share quite a bit of DNA with them, but the game feels incredibly different to play with many cool new changes to the gameplay. First up is the inclusion of the posture bar, which dramatically changes the way you play. By attacking and deflecting, you can reduce your enemy's posture to deliver the final blow with a stylistic attack, but posture can affect you too. There's also a great amount of stealth to the gameplay. Dispatching foes with a single hit without them even knowing is immensely satisfying. Maneuverability is also a big step up from Dark Souls, as the one-armed wolf is highly athletic, jumping from building to building and using the incredibly useful grappling hook to jump across huge areas. It's a real blast to play through, and the ability to resurrect yourself after death is a superb addition that can really turn a battle in your favour. Arguably the best From Software title yet, and a title that mustn't be missed. At number 8, we have A Plague's Tale: Innocence. I never got a chance to review this one, which is a shame. I played it over the summer period as I heard positive things about it, and my word, the good word of mouth was right. Set in 1348 Aquitaine in France, we follow the noble de Rune children as their family is murdered and their home is destroyed by a group of men working for the Inquisition, and the reason for this is never really known to us in the beginning. So as older sister Amicia, you and your younger brother Hugo must travel across the country to fight and survive in this dangerous world, whilst trying to avoid the Inquisition as they're trying to take Hugo, as the lad has some sort of illness they want him for experiments on. The game's story is incredibly well told with a great script and likeable characters. It really does keep you invested until the end. The gameplay feels a bit similar to Naughty Dog's masterpiece The Last of Us, but with a far less focus on action and more of sneaking around. It's a truly glorious experience and one of the shining stars of this generation, and I can't wait for the recently announced sequel. At number 7, Luigi's Mansion 3. Luigi's Mansion was certainly a unique launch title that gave Mario's younger brother time in the spotlight, and its sequel did deliver a solid if overlong experience. But with Luigi's Mansion 3, Next Level Games have made the best entry in the series by far. By changing the location to a hotel, this allows for greater variety in the level designs. Each and every level of this hotel is incredibly different, with some based on a shopping mall, film studio and even Egyptian pyramids. It's all gloriously creative, and the inclusion of many new mechanics make the game a complete joy. We also have co-op multiplayer here with Luigi, making the game fully playable with another player. A perfect game for family nights in, indeed. It's not just a lengthy 15-hour story mode, as we also have a really fun skyscraper online multiplayer mode which sees you and other players roaming around rooms hunting for ghosts. A true ghost-busting delight, and a title that will last you long after the credits have rolled. Luigi's Mansion 3 is a true Switch delight. Number 6, Super Mario Maker 2. The ill-fated Wii U had many great games, but arguably its greatest and most unique title was Super Mario Maker, a fantastic idea of the game that allowed you to create your own Mario level. And whilst it was a pretty successful title for the Wii U, many folks wondered if there would be a deluxe edition or even a sequel for the Switch, and thankfully with Super Mario Maker 2 our pleas were answered. Mario Maker 2 took the brilliant foundations of the original and basically added more tools for creators to use. We even got a new gameplay style based on the 3D world with its own unique layout and items, and again like the original, making a level is a piece of cake. Whether docked or portable, the transition between the two playstyles are great. We also have a fun and enjoyable single-player mode that consists of 100 or so Nintendo-created levels, and unlike the rather safe new Super Mario Bros. Series, these levels are incredibly creative and fun. I really do hope we see this creativity in future 2D Mario games. And the fun doesn't end there, as there's plenty of millions of user-created Mario levels, so there's an endless supply of stuff to play, and the inclusion of multiplayer as well makes Super Mario Maker 2 one of the best and evergreen titles for the Switch. Number 5, Devil May Cry 5. After plenty of remasters for PS4 and Xbox One, the Devil May Cry series finally made its triumphant return this year with an all-kicking, all-shouting, blistering roller coaster of non-stop action. From the game's opening scenes to the final credits, the action never gives up, and nor does the many different ways to dispatch the game's many different enemies. From 3 different playable characters that include Dante, Nero, and the incredibly unique V, each character feels incredibly different, especially V, which feels like a revelation for the series. It isn't just that, as each character has a boatload of weapons and abilities at their hand, from guns, swords, and even a motorbike. The game just keeps chucking new things throughout the game's 10-hour campaign, and that's not include the cornucopia of upgrades available too. DMC5 didn't stop there as the Bloody Palace returned in the free update, adding even more content to the game, delivering one of the best action games of all time and a glorious return to the series. I just hope we don't have to wait too long for Dante and Code to return. Number 4, Resident Evil 2. Capcom has really been killing it during the latter half of this generation after spending most of the early days of the PS4 and Xbox One porting their back catalogue of games to the consoles, but for the past couple of years Capcom's really delighted many folks with the welcome return of Resident Evil, with the big departure that was Resident Evil 7, and finally making Monster Hunter a household name. But arguably their best game this generation is this entirely from the grounds up remake of the PS1 classic Resident Evil 2. Taking the same narrative and setting, RE2 Remake really changes things up in many different ways. Gone is the fixed camera of the original, and instead is a typical third person over the shoulder we're used to in modern gaming. Exploring the police station is a revelation for older fans and an utter joy, and the Tyrant is a thing of nightmares when it stalks you through those tight corridors. Graphically, it's astounding, arguably one of the best this gen, with detailed and gross enemy designs and eerie environments. Even after 20 plus years, there's still plenty of life in the Resident Evil series yet, and with the Resident Evil 3 remake coming out later this year, we've got even more Resident Evil goodness to look forward to. At number 3, we have Control. Remedy has had plenty of success with Quantum Break and Alan Wake for Microsoft, but with Control it marks the studio's first PlayStation title in about 16 years. And boy is Control is a brilliant comeback, delighting players with its mysterious dark tale of an otherworldly threat taking over the equally mysterious building of the Bureau of Control. Playing as Jesse Faden, you head to the Bureau trying to find answers about reasons I won't spoil, only to end up as the director within a few short minutes of arriving. As we go through the game, we follow Jessie as she pieces together just what the heck is going on. The story, as I said before, is excellent, a very sort of X-Files vibe to it, but the gameplay is equally awesome. You spend most of the game exploring the old house, which houses loads of secrets and extras to find, as well as the incredibly enjoyable combat. You have a breathing gun called the service weapon, which has unlimited ammo, and shooting is top notch, but it's its superhero-like Jedi abilities that allow Jesse to hover and pick up bits of scenery and throw it at enemies that really does stand out. Control only real weak point is its performance, which is greatly improved since launch, but still can feel uneven at times. But nevertheless, don't let that put you off one of the most original, engrossing and engaging games of the year. And at number 2, we have Fire Emblem Three Houses. After a couple of delays, Fire Emblem mainline Switch title finally debuted in 2019 and arrived in style. Three Houses is an incredibly engaging and engrossing strategic RPG that continues the series' tradition of featuring many tense battles that will certainly test your brain. The combat feels the most refined yet, even though it's ditched the series' iconic weapon triangle. The game's stories is suitably epic. As a newly recruited teacher at a monastery, you have to choose which house you'll teach, featuring a whole host of likeable characters. The game's world feels incredibly alive, as you really do have strong bonds within these characters. The game also doubles up as a persona sim, as you have to teach your students with setting up lessons and activities to boost the students' attributes. A big joy of Three Houses is the huge amount of content on offer, with 3 hugely different and expansive campaigns that all have hugely different stories that you need to play all 3 to get the full picture. Easily my favourite Switch game of the year, Fire Emblem Three Houses is a truly immersive and wonderful experience that is the best entry in the series to date. At number 1, we have Death Stranding. Yes, Death Stranding. This is going to be a bit of a controversial choice for some people, but for me, I absolutely adored this game. After Kojima left Konami, there's been much hype over his next project, and over the past 3 and a bit years, Death Stranding has been exciting and confusing many people with its many baffling and complex trailers. And the confusion didn't stop there with the rather mixed critical reviews. But giving the game a chance, I'm so glad I did, because I was treated to a truly exceptional one-off experience, delivering a top-tier story that is one of the industry's best in storytelling, tackling many different subjects, as well as a stellar cast of A-list actors that all deliver outstanding performances. It's a true graphical tour de force too, offering the best looking game of this generation. When it comes to the gameplay, it will certainly not be for everyone, as 90% of the game consists of you just walking around delivering items. But for as bizarre as it is, the gameplay is truly captivating. Just you and the open road ahead is one of the best experiences I've had in gaming. For all the sci-fi elements, it's actually a rather human game, looking at life, death, loneliness, and how together people are more stronger than ever. It really does feel like a truly one-off experience, and when those end credits appear, it does really make you feel sad when the adventure is over. You know a game is something truly special when it does that, so do yourself a favour and pick this game up, as it will have you thinking long after you have finished it. A truly fantastic game, and my game of the year. And with that, the list is over. What do you think of my list? Do you agree or disagree? Why don't you tell me your favourite games of the year in the comments section below? So anyway, as always, thank you for watching my video. Like, rate and subscribe. And until next time, happy gaming. Oh, and have a happy 2022. Bye.